This is William Hughes presenting on realism. Martin Gardner says, if you wonder why scientists, philosophers, and ordinary people, with rare exceptions, have been and are unabashed realists, let me tell you why. The scientific conjecture has been more overwhelmingly confirmed. No hypothesis offers a simpler explanation of why the Andromeda galaxy spirals in every photograph, why all electrons are identical, why the laws of physics are the same in Tokyo as in London or in Mars. Little brief history. Most philosophers cite Aristotle as the father of realism. Aristotle was the protege of Plato. They had very different lenses in which they observed the world. Many years later, realism would impact the modern world through the influence of Francis Bacon's scientific method and John Locke's human mind is a blank sheet that is molded and changed by the environment. Realism continues to hold a place in a modern education through the works of Harry S. Brody. Some famous figures and dates. Aristotle, he lived around 384 to 322 BC. Thomas Aquinas, he was 1225 to 74. John Amos Comenius, he was 1592 to 1670. Baruch Spinoza, he was 1632 to 1677. John Locke, he was 1632 to 1704. Immanuel Kant was 1724 to 1804. And Johann Erbar was 1776 to 1841. Some basic principles and ideas. Realism deals with things which can be perceived and known in existence and in nature. It does not matter that someone is not thinking about and perceiving things. Reality is not found in the mind, but in things in nature which can be known. It's based upon common sense because most beliefs are based on objective objects that are not dependent upon the mind. Another belief about realism is the belief that universals exist, the belief that ideas are independent of material objects, and that matter would continue to exist even if man's mind, thoughts, and ideas ceased. Some other realisms. You have Platonic realism. This view was first articulated by Plato. He argued that universals exist. A universal is something that can exist in more than one place at the same time. You also have moderate realism, is a view that there's no separate realm where universals exist, but they are located in space and time wherever they happen to appear. You have moral realism, is the idea that there are objective moral values that are independent of our thinking of them. So how does realism and Christian ed relate to one another? Some positives. Realism and Christian ed can help or start with the systematic study of scriptures. Also, you can apply realism to Christian ed in a positive way through apologetics, such as reading and having a lesson on Josh McDowell's book, Evidence That Demands a Verdict. What are the facts? Our faith is logical. Another way realism can affect Christian ed in a positive way is through scripture memory. And also it encourages authentic conversations about the natural world and Jesus and spirituality. Some of the negatives, rooted in the scientific method, cannot test faith-based statements in a test tube, and consistent scientific approach to education can over time eliminate faith. Then there you see the sources. Thank you very much.